Hello, everybody, and welcome to Coaching Conversations. My name is Jamie Alilaw. Many of you know me as an opera singer, but I am here today in my capacity as a leadership and life coach. And today we are welcoming here. Come on, you got to get in the thing, child. So today we are welcoming in Marsha Wilson. So Marsha, let's see. Oh, there it is. It came up.
Yay.
Came up. So Marsha's going live on her Instagram as well.
I'm here. I like when things work. Yay.
Yay, I like when things work too. So we have Instagram live up top. Also Instagram live over to our left. And then we've got Facebook live down below. I'm looking and pointing at y'all. So we might look at different screens, but we're talking to everybody, okay? Yeah, our eyes may travel, but we're here on all of them. Okay, so like I said, we're here with Marsha Wilson today to have a conversation about rediscovering and re-engaging with your creativity during this time and beyond. So, Marsha, tell us a little bit about, most of y'all know Marsha's my sister. If you didn't know that before, just look at the eyes. Mm-hmm. I mean, if you've never met us before in life, you look at the eyes and you know. Mm-hmm. But Marsha came into this world and has been so much more than just my sister. So Marsha, share with us a little bit about who you are.
Who I be. So my name is Marsha Nicole Wilson. That is my government name. Each of my names has 6 letters, which I love numerology, so I think it's pretty significant. And there are 6 people on this chat.
Hey!
Like that.
Facebook too, and Instagram. Come on, 6s.
Speaking about me, I'm very spiritual. That is not an external feature or factor. It is my grounding. It is my foundation. It is who I be. It was the household that I was raised in. I am artsy fartsy. I'm creative.
Mostly fartsy. No, just kidding.
Well, you know, I love colors. I love textures. I love natural lighting. All of those things are a part of my aesthetic, and they all make my solar plexus very happy. I love, I like communicating. I like listening. I like hearing people and understanding people. I think if I weren't in the creative field, I'd probably be a psychologist, because I'm not big judgy, except on the highway when people don't use their signals. That's the only time, really. Yeah, I like humanity. I like people, and I like connections, and I use creativity to connect and align with myself, with my ancestors, with the spirit realm, and with other human beings.
Will you share with us, because we can, yeah, Max said twins. Will you share with us, because we, like, just looking at you, again, if you've never met Marsha, even just looking and just feeling her energy emanate, you can really grasp some of the inner outwardly. And also, would you share with us some of the ways that you exhibit your creativity? You were saying if you weren't in the creative, realm, like what do you do in the creative realm?
Well, money-wise, I'm in the film industry. I am a costumer. The last job I had was on Legacy season 2. Yes, it is a part of the Vampire Diaries family. Vampire Diaries. Mm-hmm. So I was a key costumer there. I've been truck costumer, just a costumer.
Key costumer.
So I've done different positions as a costumer. I went to school for fashion design. Like, that's my educational background. And photography I learned it about 11 years ago and went professional with it 10 years ago. And we'll probably get into this later, I don't know. But I'm just now getting back into it, thankfully. I missed it. I stepped away from it for some spiritual and emotional reasons. So I express myself through my fashion, my physical aesthetics. do my photography. I like having a perspective. I like editing and composition and lighting, and I like connecting with people when I do that. Creative. I consider tarot reading creative, so I love tarot reading for myself, my family, for other people. I love cartwheels and hula hooping. I don't hula hoop enough, but I like it.
And
dance. Oh, dance. Dancing
yes.
and rapping and singing. We both do all of those things.
So first of all, Marsha is my resident photographer. All of my headshots, and it's not just because we're sisters, because I'm the type of person that if you don't, if it's not best for you to do it for me, then I will seek other support. Mm-hmm. But because Marsha is the truth, she has this ability that when she, oh look, Mama says, and hula hoop. She has this ability that when she's photographing her subject, she sees through them, and she is able to extract the inner, so that through her perspective and through her lens, everybody who looks at the picture is able to see what she saw in that moment. So
that's deep.
It's deep. So you deep. But anywho, so
come here some more.
You said come in some more. Mm-hmm. Okay, she's trying to make
the Facebook folks
for the Facebook. Okay, so this is coaching conversations, and just a little bit about coaching. I mean, at its core, coaching is a conversation. Leadership and life coaching is a relatively new field. I believe it's been around for 20 some years. In the known realm, but it's still something that I find people have questions about coaching, or because people practice it in so many vast ways. I think it's important for me to just be clear on what I do. Coaching is a conversation. It's engaged between two or more people, and as a coach, I provide and create space for people to dig deep, to explore what they have going on, to reflect back and uncover any blocks, anything that might be in the way, so that we can get to where you're going. It's present and future focused. So we're looking at what's going on now that will support you in your future, or that will block you in the future. And I'm your number one cheerleader, because I see, much as Marsha does with her lens, with my coaching lens, I see through to who you truly are. Mm-hmm. Maybe not who you're presenting at the time, just based off of insecurities or whatever, but I see who you truly are at your core, and that's who I talk to. So today, my intention for this coaching conversation is connection with Marsha, and also connection with the audience. So we welcome your engagement. Drop little tidbits whenever you feel, if you have questions, if you have had an aha moment, if you have experience in the realm, if you just have something you want to share, go ahead and drop it in, and we will engage with that. So definitely connection. It's my desire to reignite creative spark within all of us. We're all creators, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. From my perspective, we are made in the image and likeness of the creator. And so whether you are an artist, or in the finance industry, or in the food service industry, we are all creators. And so my intention is to spark and engage with that. And ultimately for us all to leave this call with our cups full. Yes. Marsha, do you have any more intention for?
I want to connect and engage with people that we do know and that we don't know, or that I know but you don't know, or that you know that I don't know. I think what I see is this kind of circular energy happening. Mm-hmm. That I believe the scripture, though I don't tend to throw out scriptures often, but I do like the scripture. It speaks on don't mean that God's word won't return unto him void.
Yeah.
So I feel like everything that we speak on, even for those who are here and aren't here, is going into the universe.
Yep.
It's going out into the world. And the geese are feeling
The
it
geese
right
are turned up. They
up.
are ready to engage in some coaching conversations.
Listen, geese are creative.
They
So,
really are. So let's get started. Again, this is a conversation, so we'll just go and flow. Oh, look at Julianne from high school. I went to high school with Julianne Costa, and she says, "You ladies are beautiful."
Hi, Julianne.
Oh, thank you so much. I'm going to scroll. Let me see if we have people pop in. Hello, folks. Hello, hello, hello. Let me see. Anybody else say anything? Okay. So, hey, Dr. Newbie. Okay, so I flowed through some inspired questions. This is a conversation, so I'll throw some stuff out. We have known each other for 31 years.
33.
How old are you?
I'm 32, but 33,
32,
including the Woomba.
Okay, so we go back. Mm-hmm. So we talk. So we just gonna flow. But just to get us started, Marsha, what has been your relationship with art and creation?
Life or during the
in life? Well, I mean all of it, and not just your own, but also others. Hey, Allegra, what has been your relationship with art and creation? Just whatever you want to speak on.
I already told Jamie I'm probably gonna cry at least once because I'm a water sign, and because art, creation, expression is my core. What's my relationship? I have always been creative. One of my favorite stories is actually one I actually remember, but it was preschool graduation, and you already know what I'm about to say.
Tiny bubbles.
Of course, I was the only brown girl in my preschool, so that was
Simi Valley, California.
Simi Valley, California, Little Becomers preschool. Hey,
rep your hood.
What preschool you from?
Okay.
So I remember getting ready to go up to the stage, and we were supposed to say your name, your name, and what you wanted to be when you grew up. And so I already had it in my mind, and so I go on stage, lights shining in my face, can't see nobody in the audience. I said, "Hello, my name is Marsha Nicole Wilson, and when I grow up, I want to be a Barbie singer." And everybody laughed.
Singer.
Not like at me, but just like, okay. But I kind of had this conversation with myself a few days ago, like, who even is a Barbie singer? And I've evaluated that, and I think the way I perceived the Barbie singer, all my Barbies were brown, they all had fashionable clothing. I perceived them as whoever they wanted to be. They were multifaceted, multidimensional. They did all of the things. They were performers. They were singers. They were actors. They were ministers. They were healers. They were
playing dance,
honey. They were setting the captives free. Okay, like that's how I perceived my relationship with Barbies, which it kind of became my relationship with creativity. And I think it's so funny being an adult now. All the things I did as a kid, I loved collecting rocks and painting them. Now I collect amethyst and selenite and all these other healing stones. So my relationship with art has been from the beginning of time, in this lifetime and other lifetimes. My biggest relationship with art is expressed through music. I love music. I have no idea how I'm not in the music industry. Like I think that's coming. Though. I said that too soon, but that's coming in its own way. I love playlists, and I love harmonies and melodies, and I love beats and lyrics, and just the synergy that takes place in that's infused in every single song. Like music's my favorite art form. I have many others. We already talked about fashion and photography and tarot and all that good stuff, but music, honey, and hair. Carrie mentioned Marsha's hair. I express through hair. We both do.
Hey, Carrie, BGC. Hey, Boys and Girls Club.
I think my relationship with art and creativity is emotional. It's really emotional. I've had creative blocks for the last almost decade, and I'm just now coming out of it per February 2020. So 2020 hasn't been all poo. I was going to say other words, but this ain't my platform. So, it hasn't been all trash. So, especially during this time, I have healed so much going back to my creativity. I love the film industry. Also, all the things that I've been doing at home in quarantine.
Yes. During Rona times.
Baby. I can't speak on everything. We'll share some stuff that we've been working on collectively as a family. But honey, I am more deeply rooted now than I have been in 32 years. Through art.
So, well, it's interesting because everything you said, I mean, you provide us with details, right, in terms of the specific ways that your relationship to art manifests. But again, I just go back to when you look at you, right? Like you said, y'all, I was there for her declaration that she would be a Barbie singer.
Yes.
And me and my older sister looked at each other and started rolling because we were like, what is a Barbie singer? But I'm looking at you right now, and I'm looking at your hair.
I know,
and I'm looking at
crazy.
And you look like a doll.
Barbie singer.
So I'm like, listen, Marsha said, if you don't know what a Barbie singer is, you finna find out. Check in with me in a good 25 years, 28 years. I'm gonna let you see what a Barbie singer is.
Listen.
So, and it's interesting, you made the comment, because you have been in your professional labor, you have spent much of your time in the film industry, but you mentioned how music is your primary connection with art. And I've actually, when we decided, well, I've had some introspections during the stay at home season, and one of those things I've really looked at is my own relationship with music, because like I said, most of y'all know me as an opera singer, and I have to sing. Like, my family will tell you there will be sounds in the house every day. I mean, there it is. There it is.
It's more trained.
So there, okay. So I'm going to be singing, well, because I was going to say, it's not always pretty. Jade is our oldest sister, and she asked me to record Fairy Tales by Nita Baker. Y'all, I love me, Auntie Nita. But I went to record that. I went back and listened, y'all. I am very confident in my voice. I have been a professional singer, okay, making money, coins as a singer for at least 15 years. I listened to that recording. And it said, "Dear ma'am, dearest Jamie, stop. Please stop. This is not your ministry." So I had to pull back on the Nita. That's not my area.
Somebody likes that.
Somebody thinks that's great. I mean, hey, staying humble. But I have been exploring my own relationship with music, because I see your relationship with music and how it's like in every mood, in every season, in everything you reach to music. And I don't do that. Like, I have become aware, especially in the past few months, that oftentimes I'll reach for silence before reaching the music. Or I'll reach to like a podcast or like a YouTube informational video, or like I reach to other things before I reach to music. Like, even before I sing, that's not the first thing I reach to. And I sat with that for a while, because you know how we do in our minds. We create stories and narratives, and I'm like, what does that mean about who I am as a musician? And I've shared this with some people, but in my coaching training, one of the most valuable things that I got from that was the recognition that our being is not what we do. It is not based off what we do. So a lot of times we'll go off and we'll introduce ourselves, and it's like, "Hi, I'm Jamie, I'm an opera singer." Or even, "Hi, I'm Jamie, I'm a mom." Like, these are all very important aspects of myself, but it's not the core of who I am. And so, but sometimes it still becomes this measure, right? So I'm like, what kind of musician am I if I don't feel like watching the Met Live broadcast right now? Because I don't. I don't. And it's no shade on Met broadcast. It's just where I'm at.
Yeah.
Or, you know, sometimes I'll be in the Fast Auntie Lounge, and I'll be getting it. Listen, the Fast Auntie Lounge, if y'all don't know, Ninth Wonder on Instagram, be tearing it up. Last night it was Cat Daddies.
Cat Daddies. And then he took it to the HBCUs.
It was Cat Daddies. But see, even with that, I recognize that I have, it's just a short amount of time that I'll spend with that. And so just kind of, see, sisters. So I'm there with you in this recognition that where we find ourselves in the professional realm may not be the fullest or even the truest expression of our art and creativity. Like it might have just been the door that was open at the time. It might just be the easiest. I mean, there's so many reasons, but it doesn't mean that because you are a key costumer, it doesn't mean that if somebody knows that about you, they know you. Or even
trust me, it does
really
not.
You really, or that if you know that I'm an opera singer, I will give you know some aspect of me, right? If you know that I'm an opera singer, like at the very least, it makes a lot of people be like,
intrigued,
right?
Like,
Intrigued, right? Because if you just look at me, you know, I got my Cleo, you know, braids, set it off. You might not. That might not be where you go to. But I do think that it is such a liberating space to be in when you allow yourself to acknowledge.
Yeah, I was going to say when you give yourself permission to be.
Yeah.
To be the fullness of who you are.
Right. Exactly. Because you get to learn, you get more access to yourself in that way too. If I limited myself to be like, I'm an opera singer, that's who I am. I mean, first of all, I couldn't survive that way.
God,
I couldn't survive that way. And my art wouldn't thrive either. Like what you get from me when I am singing opera wouldn't thrive as well. Let me see, because y'all are saying things, honey. Let me scroll back. Let me see, because y'all look like y'all got stuff to say. We got lots of hearts from Carrie Carr. Yep, and she wants Marsha's hair. Don't we all? Hey, cousin Kimberly. We are doing well and thriving. Julius Bailey. Hey, beautiful family.
Hey, Julius.
Come on, Allegra's laughing at something ridiculous. Probably we said. Tatanisha, Music Heals. That's one of our.
Tatanisha and Carlos are our musical soulmates.
Right. Like I love it because
and Carlos is dangerous.
A dope DJ. Carlos is so intuitive. That's exactly what I was going to say. He is so intuitive as a DJ. It's like he feels the energy of the room or the cyber room.
Well, I was going to say, because even when he's DJing on the Facebooks and on the IGs, every song, like his transition back to back, it's like, like we lived in Alabama for a second. You know, we Cali girls, but our mom's from Alabama. We lived in Alabama for a split second, but that was like a huge part of our childhood. It definitely affected mine, especially, like I said, being the only brown girl in my school in Simi. Going to Alabama, that was culture for real. So to hear Carlos playing like that song, or God, there was another one that just came to mind. It was like only songs we heard when we were in Alabama. It's like, oh my God, somebody else knows this song. So yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, shout out to Tatanisha and Carlos. Christina says beauties. Hello, Christina. Aisha, because you were probably watching Quoth Courting. I don't even remember what that was.
It was when we were talking about you not wanting to listen to classic.
Oh. You know, but that's a word, sis, because that was something that I was challenged with, especially as I was learning opera, was my foundation is in R&B and hip hop. Our dad was a DJ, so that like we grew up, and then our mom, oh my God, Barbara Streisand, Anita Baker, Whitney Houston, Johnny Mathis. People, Johnny Mathis. Okay, so we were surrounded, but that was my musical foundation.
Yeah.
So that's what I grasp for when I am in that space where I just want to listen. So you right, sis. I probably was at Club Quarantine and was like, no, we not finna watch the Met right now. Allegra, one of my beautiful singing colleagues, says, I have not felt like singing during this pandemic. When I sing for lessons, occasionally it feels forced and out of place. Y'all felt that at all? Girl. So I think this is a good time to pivot because, Marsha, you talked about how you are just getting back connected with photography as one of your artistic expressions. Will you talk about that journey and that space of when you felt disconnected and now that you're back, kind of what brought you back?
Yes.
All of that.
For sure. So I had taken a hiatus from grad school in 2013 from SCAD. I studied abroad. So the main reason I went back to grad school was so I could study abroad. And I wanted to learn more in my field. But so went to France, had an amazing experience there, came back home. My student account had some financial stuff that put a block on my account. But in my spirit, before that even happened, I felt like I was going to be going on hiatus. So it was just divine timing. From there, I was doing a whole lot of freelance photography. Of course, like Jamie said, I was doing her branding. I'd actually managed her for a split second.
That was wonderful.
Yeah. So headshots, business cards, website, logo, just the whole nine.
Contracts,
everything. And then I was doing that for other people. I was doing their flyers, their websites, their branding for seasonings or just whatever they had. And I liked it. I loved it until I was leaning into it so much for it to make me money. And when it wasn't making me as much money as I was wanting to, it took away the passion and the enjoyment of the actual craft of photography. And so I stepped away from photography. Y'all, I love photography. Like, I'm just now getting back into it. Starting, when was quarantine? My first day of quarantine was on my birthday, March 18th. So I'm still, processing that. But I started back to the photography probably just like a month ago.
Yeah.
For the first time in years.
Y'all have seen the pictures start to pop back up.
Yes. And I love it. Like, it's a safe space again. I'm less judgmental. I'm far more compassionate. I'm more compassionate towards myself, period, during this time, because I'm going through a intensely healing journey right now. Intensely. And the art is helping me through that. So the photography, oh my God. I mean, we didn't use professional cameras yesterday when we did the recording for Waiting to Exhale.
If y'all haven't seen that video, I beseech you to go on either one of our pages on Facebook or Instagram, because we're plum fools.
Yeah,
and love it.
And there's more to come.
To the core of our being.
We recite lines from all kinds of movies. Don't know how to treat like everything.
Yes,
so we could go on and on and on, from The Sound of Music, White Christmas, Boys in the Hood, everything.
Yes.
So there's going to be more reenactments. But even playing around on my cell phones, editing, apps, that was so much fun for me. The zoom ins, the zoom outs, the sharpening, the quality, the mashing up of the sound, all of that. Like, I'm reconnecting with everything that I've always been, either stuff that I knew about or that I did not know about. I'm reconnecting with all of that right now. And predominantly photography. I've kind of tiptoed back into drawing a little bit, whether it's fashion illustrations or faces. Jamie used to draw these fine men.
They was fine, y'all. I've always loved the male form.
With the goatee, baby, them things was sassy, okay? Even as a child, I was a little fast. I wasn't fast as a kid. I was a goody two shoes as a kid, but her drawings, baby, like I said, them things, they didn't even have color, but I just knew they was chocolate. So I've tiptoed. That's when I started drawing faces. So I was like, ooh, I like the form, I like the structure. They were always chiseled. Like, I loved the faces and the noses and the lips, the full lips. So I'm tiptoeing back into somebody laughing at us. I'm tiptoeing back into drawing. I take a lot of selfies right now. It's a lot of fun. I love natural lighting, so honey, anytime I find it, I do what I do with it. Tyra would be very proud.
Yes.
I'm working on my smiles during this quarantine. I'm
too.
journaling a lot. I've been journaling a lot. I have had a writing block for several years, for a lot longer than I did my photography block. I get a little bit of anxiety when I write, because I'm like, I have so many downloads happening. I have so many thoughts. I want to get them all out, and either none of them are coming or they're just coming too fast, and it's overwhelming, so I don't feel like any of them are getting flushed out. But now, like I said, I've been more compassionate and patient with myself. So now it's like, just be in this moment. You ain't going nowhere, and it's perfectly fine. So sit outside by the water with the geese, or sit in my room with my candles and my Tibetan singing bowl playing on my YouTubes, and giving myself permission to be in any given moment. That is another part of my healing journey. And again, I recognize that the creative aspects of myself are what is healing myself. All the creative aspects of other people too, because like Jamie said, we have tuned into Ninth Wonder. I love him. He's my favorite DJ. He and Carlos are my favorite DJs on social media right now. So
you had you put so much in there, and
I know.
One of the things just flow, girl, just flow. But one of the things that stood out to me was that the thing that kind of cut the flow of your creativity, especially as far as photography was concerned, was pressure. You used that term pressure a few times throughout. It was pressure, economic pressure was one of the sources of pressure, right? So it's like, when this became something that has to make me money, it is no longer passion, it's no longer something that I enjoy. It's so that's just one form of pressure. There's so many forms of pressure. Allegra, when you say that during this pandemic you haven't felt like singing, as a singer, right, as a classically trained singer, we are trained that you have to keep practicing. You use it or you lose it, right? And so oftentimes, especially during our education, it's like, it don't matter how you feel, you need to get in that practice room and you need to do it. And that's another form of external pressure that can affect things. And Tatanisha said earlier, I need to give y'all a shout out, okay? Tatanisha, we told y'all about Tatanisha and Carlos and how they're our music buddies. But I'm excited. Next week, this little plug for next week. Next week, Tatanisha and I are going to be talking on Coaching Conversations.
Yes.
And Tatanisha is an insightful, compassionate, loving school counselor. And so we are going to be talking about the babies during the Rona times. We're going to be talking about having grace with yourself, with your children, and we're going to be talking about whatever else she brings to the conversation. But anyway, so Tatanisha added earlier, she says there is, let me see. Hold on, let me go. Y'all, I'm on Instagrams trying to scroll back to get to that comment because I seen it come up. What you say, Tatanisha? You said process how you need to. There is no right way to experience a pandemic. Come on now. I mean, from what I know, none of us has ever been through a pandemic before. So everything that's come up provides us an opportunity for spaces to look for our own grounding, our own personal development. And honestly, even if we're not in a space to do that kind of work, just rest, honey. Do what you got to do. But this narrative that says I should be, like, as soon as that starts, like, that's a red flag for me. Yes. I should be. I'm supposed to be. Don't even feel good. It doesn't feel good at all.
Yeah, it doesn't feel loving.
And so I think, Allegra, just kind of going back to your statement, I personally have found this an opportunity to look at and to get curious about the things that are coming up for me in terms of interests. Like, what is it that I do feel like doing right now? Because I have not felt like preparing opera repertoire. I thought I would. I'm like, hey, this is a great time to get that role under your belt. And I looked and it was like, no, sis, not right now. And so I was like, okay. So I tuned in and I'm getting curious and allowing myself the chance to explore what things are coming up for me. And y'all see I'm on coaching conversations because lo and behold, this is an opportunity that has presented itself to me numerous times over this quarantine season. And it feels effortless. It feels like joy. It feels like purpose. It feels like ease. So this is just an example of one of those things that I wasn't doing before that I'm doing now. And yes, there are things that I was doing before that I don't feel like doing right now. So there's no right way to pandemic. Carrie said, to practice any art, no matter how well or badly, is a way to make your soul grow. Amen. Mm-hmm. I mean, like I said earlier, my belief is that we are in the image and likeness of the divine creator. Mm-hmm. We are out here. Look, y'all, our backyard is beautiful. I don't know if y'all probably hear the birds. The geese were turning up earlier. We've got this lake back here with this waterfall, these trees. We get so many different kinds of birds. And we just sit, look.
Sorry, I was like, man.
But we sit and we experience these different expressions of nature, and it's just like, man. The diversity in the trees, the different sizes of the birds. Just all of these different things, just to be able to acknowledge that. Like we said, how do you relate with your own art and the art of others? The art of nature.
Come on now.
I mean,
nature's sexy.
Nature is sexy AF. Okay. You are more than the genre you represent. That's exactly it. And, I want to shout out Miss Aisha, because Aisha is a very important and integral person in the presbytery, within the Presbyterian Church. And I was drawn to Miss Aisha because my church job is a large Presbyterian church, and she came for the installation of a pastor, and I saw her and I was like, who is sis?
Yeah,
because she is fly. You talk about art made manifest just from her hair, her smile, her aura, the energy that she emits, her joy. Anyway, that's her. So she says, you are more than the genre you represent. Let's see. Barbara says, I'm just going to come back and to point out how stunningly gorgeous you both are.
I miss you.
I don't think we could hear that too many times. Thank you. Clarence, can I be amused? I need a headshot. Yes. Listen, you better shoot your shot, Clarence.
Sure,
okay, and he is beautiful, too. You talk about a beautiful man. Clarence is gorgeous. Yeah. I have always appreciated. I just appreciate beauty just in general. Yeah. But he's a beautiful man. So when we get out of Rona times,
I can give you a beautiful man discount.
But I say this: I'm like we are on no new friends. If you're not in this household, we not doing that right now. I know we in Georgia, but what Keisha say? Okay. That's who we listening to. We listen to we listening to ourselves, right? But Keisha aligns with that. Anywho, Chase, I always loved the male form. Same says yes. I see Chase knows. Is it beautiful? Baba Tunde is a plumfool. He said, "I've always had a male form."
You know what? That's
your story. As a cis male, that is your story.
That is legitimate.
Dion, living in the past and thinking of the future is simple. Trying to live in the present is difficult for most people. What is y'all suggestion to live in the present? Dion, if you don't come through, Dion and I were stationed in northern Iraq together. Oh, well, Fun fact, for those of you who don't know, I was in the Army and was deployed to northern Iraq. And so Brother Dion was there with me. I love this conversation. How do you suggest living in the present?
Well, I'll say what works for me. What works for me is I'm very feeling, so I get sensations very intensely. If it's joy, if it's anxiety, if it's melancholy, whatever it is. And so I just kind of feel them. So if I start getting a migraine, I know something's off. And I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, I need some water. So that allows me to be in that moment. Okay, I have a migraine right now. What do I do to help me be at peace? I go get some water or some tea, or I breathe. Breathing helps me be in the moment. Deep breathing, specifically breathing in through the nose and kind of filling up the belly to clear out what no longer serves you. And then exhaling either softly through the mouth or through the nose. Nothing too intense through the mouth, because then you might start to hyperventilate. But just like a... And as I'm inhaling, I'm thinking of my intentions. If it's like, okay, I just want to stay present, then I inhale, okay, I'm going to stay in the present moment. And then I exhale through the mouth and I release what no longer serves me. Sometimes what no longer serves me is storylines that I'm telling myself. Sometimes it's external noise, depending on who you might be living with. Maybe it's whatever. It could come from any...
Did she just snipe at me? Was that...
No.
She said, depending on who you living with.
Nah,
external noise.
I am grateful that I have a dope ass family that I don't have to worry about.
I was breathing, and then I had heard that. And then I
You
had
were
heard
taking
that.
that personally.
Okay, I mean, maybe I'm just projecting. You know.
And so even if you're in the moment of projecting, you just take a deep inhale through the nose. But no, that for me helps me stay in the moment, because then I'm able to hear that still small voice that's like, okay, what is it that I desire? What do I want? Okay, I want to binge watch the 3rd season of Vampire Diaries, or of Grey's Anatomy, or of whatever.
Law and Order SVU.
That one's hard for me. It's
The
too real.
judgy
It's
knots.
great.
Judgy nods.
It is a great show. It's hard for me though. It's too real. The rape
I feel
cases
you.
makes me
it ain't-
murderous.
everybody ain't made for it. I get it.
No.
I understand.
Not judging myself helps me stay in the present moment. I think that helps me not be so anxious to want to do everything. It's like, okay, literally, I have conversations with myself. It's like, what do I want for this moment? I want to be at peace. Okay, I'm going to go get my peace through deep breathing. I'm going to get it through taking a cleansing bath. I'm going to get it through sipping on a little something, whatever that little something is. I come outside and listen to the water and to the geese. I go on Facebook, or I go on Instagram. We've talked about curating our Instagram so that what I scroll through, I see the stuff that I want to see. I'm not seeing the things that are like, oh, I don't feel like having this conversation right now, or why do I have to talk about this? Why is this even a conversation? I like to see the posts that have like a new moon. Here's a ritual that you can do to get you in your right space. Jamie, I don't want to speak for you, but
Go ahead and do it.
What just came up in my spirit, coloring books.
Jason Momoa.
Present, whatever it is that present moment to me is tuning in, tapping in, and turning on your true desire for that moment. And just listening to it, trusting it, and not judging it. That's what works for me. I ain't gonna project and be like, this is what it is, this is how you do it. We're multifaceted human beings, and we all have different ways of tapping into that. For me, myself, and I like to breathe, and I like to just kind of be like, I don't feel like braiding my hair right now, so I'm just going to wash it instead, and I'm going to plait it. And then I will braid it tomorrow, but right now I feel like going into Photoshop and editing, or I feel like laying down and taking a nap, or I feel like meditating, or I feel like painting my nails, which I rarely do, but I did it for y'all. Hey, I never paint my nails. Or I'll come and have a conversation with the fam bam. I do spend a lot of time on Instagram because Tabitha Brown, she posts great videos.
Y'all, because it's your business.
Because that's your business. Yeah. I don't know.
Well, there are. I think it's 3 things, 3 core things that I heard you say. My counting might be off, so let's see. I heard self-awareness. I heard self-awareness in there. So being aware enough to kind of gauge when something's off, like you said, to be able to acknowledge or to be able to sense, like there's a headache, there's a discomfort or a dis-ease. So there's a level of self-awareness there. A willingness to release judgment, which allows you to get present to what the moment requires. right? Because again, going back to that conversation, when we're in these should conversations, I should be doing this, I shouldn't feel this, I shouldn't think that. When you're in those, you might not hear your inner self requesting an episode of that TV show, because you've already told yourself what you should be doing in the moment. And so and I'm speaking from my personal experience, so I fight through, muscle through, try to power through, and things just get tighter and tighter and tighter, versus being willing to be self-aware, to see where I'm at in that moment, to be willing. There's also a stopping that happens, right? You have to slow down or stop the flow. And releasing judgment and tuning in, being willing to hear and to listen. And so I love what you said, because for all of those things, each of us access those things in different ways. Yeah. And so I think that those are 4 core things that you can play with for yourself. Like, what causes me to be in tune with what's going on with me? Marsha said that she's very emotionally connected. I am very physical. That's where I get a lot of my physical. That's where I get a lot of my messaging. So I will get headaches. I will get intense pressure in my shoulders, in my chest, tightening in my solar plexus. So these are things that I have become present to, so that when they show up, I'll be like, oh, okay, somebody trying to get my attention, and somebody is me. But it's like, okay, and so that's one thing. But for you, it's for you to tap into what causes you to be aware of what's going on with you. Like with babies, we tend to learn their cries and their cues, right? When they start to wind up. I remember when Malika was a baby. Hey, Malika, my little one. This is my little one. She's 17 years old now.
She's a grown woman.
But when she was a baby, I remember she used to do this wind up. And we would do everything in our power to be like, let's not let this thing unleash. We would be like, okay, we need what is going on? Check the diaper. Is she hungry? But is she comfortable? Yeah. But, so to be that in tune with the babies, to be able to practice being that in tune with ourselves. So being in tune, being willing to be still and to quiet, releasing judgment, and tuning in to what the moment is calling off for you. Let's see. What we doing? What we doing with time, y'all? We just be talking to y'all. Oh, it's 12:54. Oops. Okay, y'all. So we're we just gonna keep talking because we ain't got nothing to do. It's Rona time.
Yes, ma'am. Breathing is life.
Breathing is life. Yes.
I wonder what Malika was saying now too. Breathing is a wonderful tool for bringing peace.
Yes, it is. Intentional breathing. Everybody, y'all like to breathe. I love it.
We like
John Good. John Good said, I think if people will allow themselves to be independent of societal expectations, it helps in navigating these times. Child, these times and every other time. Okay? How about this is an opportunity to begin living for the rest of our lives, right? So this pandemic has been the impetus for us to, some stuff has been thrown in our face, right? There's a tower moment. You talk about tarot. This is a big tower, right? Structures are crumbling.
Ooh, baby. That's another chat.
That is another chat, honey. We will chat about the tower. But this is a huge moment where structures are crumbling, right? And it doesn't have to be bad, right? We tend to judge things as good or bad. What I see is like, again, when we talk about the internal measures, like what's going on with me inside, when stuff starts crumbling externally, it's like, okay, this is an opportunity for me to look at how I am being in this space, how it's affecting me, and who I'm being, right? So, John Good, I am so right there with you. We have these conversations all the time with our mama. We can't get mama on the screen. We're going to get her on the screen one of these days. Because, you see us. But, we get it. We get it from mama. We get it from my mama. But we have these conversations all the time about how so much of the stuff that we're having to unlearn are these societal norms. These societal norms, child. These norms.
Girl, you know how these societal norms
You know these societal norms just be, but these societal norms and how they are projected on us, and we wear them like they're ours. You know, but when we start to strip off those layers, it's like, I mean, relief, joy, and you might even freedom. Come on now, and you might even get to hear what your own voice sounds like.
Ooh.
Come on,
They'll do it.
What?
You know what it is.
What it did?
Somebody said, "How do you sing in pitch without losing breath?"
Oh Lord, you talk about another chat. That is another chat, because it is a conversation about engaging with the breath and engaging with the body as an
I think
instrument.
that's somebody from Otis Camp.
Music for the soul. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Believe.
So that's a great question. So we might have to engage with that in future conversations. How has family? Oh wait, hold on. Oh, John said our hip hop videos. Wait, your hip hop videos are part of my routine.
Oh, his
my quarantine joy routine. See, so this is the thing. We do it because we genuinely. This video we just released, like y'all. I said dream come true because we have been quoting that movie since it came out.
We went to see it in theaters. We saw Waiting to Exhale in theaters 4 times.
You was what, 10?
I was not that old.
Not even that old,
no,
right?
I wasn't.
Ooh, the devil is a lie. 50%. But we've been quoting that forever. So this is the stuff that we do is truly born out of our heart and joy.
Yep.
And I think that that's what y'all pick up on.
Mm-hmm.
How has family influence supported you both?
Oh, well. It is. I think that was an echo. Mm-hmm. Family has influenced and supported me. It's just the norm for me. I have a lot of women in my family. Like we're a unit. So when people see us, if they see one of us missing, it's like, where's Mama? Where's Jamie? Where's Sister? Where's Malik? Where's Jay? Where's Marsha? Like this, we're a unit. So to have, I'm just gonna name my core family. My mother, Valerie Joyce Taylor Wilson.
Okay, she did hyphens and everything. Mm-hmm.
What Beyonce say? Yo, my mama is a savage bitch. I got this shit from Tina. I got mine from Valerie.
Yes,
that's just the fact.
So hold on. So this is what we're gonna do because we're talking, we're engaging. Facebook is gonna stay with us, but we are gonna restart the Instagram live and we're gonna take it back up on this conversation. Oh, let me see. What other questions? Man, fuck those societal norms. Yes, Christy. Let me see. Hey, okay.
So yeah, come right back.
Come right back.
Literally just gonna restart.
Come right back.
So let it end and then we can just. I said let it shut off and then open.
Yeah, we still here.
And then.
Yep. And you gonna do yours?
Oh, haha.
Hey y'all.
Oh, it's still.
This break is brought to you by I Am Magic, Jamie Law Soprano. And if you have any merchandise that you would like to feature on Coaching Conversations, feel free to send it to me, and I just might wear it. Hey y'all, welcome back. Come on back in. Mama.
Come on.
Mama, did you get back in?
Fixing to.
We got to make sure Mama is on and listening, okay? Especially for this question.
Yeah, she is.
Okay, Mama's back. Let's give y'all, we're going to give Instagram people a couple seconds to get back in.
You're in there, Ma. We got you, shouty.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, that's what I wanted to read. It's a nice.
Yeah. Okay. So we're going to let y'all come back in and everything. But the question was, how has family supported you both? And did he say during this time or just in general?
He just said,
just in general.
Supported you both. Yes. So Valerie Joyce Taylor Wilson, Ebony Jade Wilson is our oldest sister. Mm-hmm. Jamie Lynette Ollilaw.
That's me.
I have Marsha Wilson, that's me, and then baby girl Malika Alila. You won't get her.
You're not gonna get her full
You don't get
name
her full name
because she's a baby.
She's a baby. They, just by them being themselves, gives me permission to be myself. And I've always been quirky. I say weird. I think weird, to some extent. So they've just allowed me to be me. That's incredibly important, especially as creatives. I feel like it's helpful. It's not required, but it's helpful to have a safe space to be the fullness of yourselves without, it helps minimize your own self-judgments when you don't have external judgment from people you actually like and love.
Yeah.
So that's how they've supported me. They supported me in my college ventures, in my travels. They've supported me financially, emotionally, spiritually, especially, physically, environmentally, just in every single realm of support that can be expressed. They have been that for me. That's our family unit. Like, that's just our norm. It's not an anomaly for us. Like, that's just how we do.
Yeah, during this time, I have been very present to the fact that blessed seems like an understatement. It seems insufficient to describe the fortunate situation we find ourselves.
That's your cousin.
Speaking of family, our cousin on here talking about y'all don't have no mask on. Edwin Jordan, sir. Anyway, I'm very present to the gift that I have, to be quarantined in the home structure that I'm in. Just to take y'all back and share some of my business, because that's my business. Thank you, Miss Tamitha Brown. She is Tabitha. What, I'm making up names. Tamitha. You know, that might be a good name. Tamitha. Who's Tamitha? Yeah. Anyway, when Malika was 1 month old, I got separated from my now ex-husband. And we all moved. I took her and we went back up to the Antelope Valley to live with my mom and my younger sister. Big sister was in New York at the time. And even at that point, I needed grounding and I needed a moment. And so when Malika was about 6 months,
at most,
about 4 or 5 months, she and I flew to New York to stay with our older sister Jade for a month. So this has been the structure for virtually all of Malika's life. And so it's been a structure that has served so many needs and so many purposes. Yeah, like I said, I was deployed to northern Iraq before Malika's second birthday. So she was 18 months old and I got deployed. And she stayed with TT and Medea, my mom. And that is the only way, when I tell you, that is the only way I stayed sane, being deployed halfway around the world, literally at war, when my baby wasn't even 2. It's because she was with my mama. And my mama raised me, and raised her, and raised our older sister. So I knew that my child would be well cared for, well loved, well reared, and raised. I mean, we won't talk about how she called me, quoting, Mean Girls. We're not going to talk about that. At age 2. We won't talk about that. But, I mean, well-rounded and balanced, because mama's always been real.
Yeah.
And so, mom is truly matriarch.
Yes.
She is the foundation. She is the oak
the epicenter.
She is the epicenter
Of our unit.
And we branch out from her. And even looking at the little bitty baby who is 17, she branches out from her and from me and from us. So that's just life. And then when we zoom in to this time, we had already established a way of being in proximity. One that is filled with respect and acknowledgement and consideration. So we are always able to find space for ourselves and space together. Always having that support and that opportunity to speak and to be heard. And y'all, I don't want to sound boastful, but we get hugs. And this makes me teary because I had that realization that because I found myself in the beginning missing hugs. And I was like, girl, if you don't turn around and go ask your mama for a hug, and we have this thing that we do, we would do it before, but even more intentionally now, where I will go seek folks out in their room and be like, I want a hug. You know, Malika, I will be like, I want kisses because she has the most kissable cheeks. So family, if there's any area in life that is working A-okay, it is family. You said you was gonna cry.
I know. I'm surprised.
Where are your tears? I don't cry, and I'm tearing up.
They got blown away by the breeze.
Anyway, Zanaya says, oddly, this time has been more busy for me, but the circumstances have still put me in a reflective space. You know, we talk about that too because we're in our cocoon. It can be, oh, hey, Uncle Biggie. Oh, I see you on the Instagrams. But because we're in our cocoon, it can be easy for each of us to get caught up in our personal experience of this and not be present to the fact that everybody's experiencing this differently. Like, we are all sheltering at home. We in the house, y'all. Like, we not playing about this. No. We're in the house. And as artists and creatives, you know, all of my shows have been canceled for the rest of the year. Like, I will not be going and performing for a big audience. And that's my job. So I'm not doing that here. Marsha is not on set filming.
Hell no.
So because we are creatives, we are creating at home.
Right.
And also, we don't have an external structure of work dictating to us our days, right? But there are some people who are essential workers in any realm, any industry, right? And so people are going out every day and coming back in. There are people whose jobs have transitioned to work from home. And then we got the babies, you know, who are doing school at home. And we were just talking to our godkids yesterday and their dad, and it's like, you know, summer's coming and they're going to be out of school and parents still got to work. And so we recognize that everybody's experiencing this differently. But one thing, and this is just my perception of it, is that everybody, regardless of what your circumstances are in this time, everybody is being granted the opportunity to look and to consider things differently. On a micro level within our own lives, again, a lot of us are being met with considering like, hey, that job that I've been doing, when I'm in these dire straits, I don't want to do this. This repels me.
Something just came to me. You said that because I've been getting a lot of, I told y'all earlier, I love numerology and I love synchronicities. I have 3 favorite numbers and I'll see them all the time together. But we'll send each other a group text message of anything we see. If we see 1111, if we see 111, if we see 1313, if we see 888, just in a dream or in a vision, whatever, we'll text it to each other and we'll look up the meaning and the significance. I kind of wanted to share that as a fun opportunity for you all. If you all aren't already looking at synchronistic experiences that happen in your life, if you have a vision of somebody like an auntie or a cousin, it may not always mean to call them or text them or DM them. It could be that they're about to call you, but to tune into those little feelings or those little whispers or little tingles and tickles that happen, or through numbers. You might see it if you're driving on a license plate or on the gas prices, or on TV, the time, the weather, whatever. I wanted to share that because I think it's fun. Like I said, y'all may already be, playing.
It is fun.
Y'all may already be playing with synchronicities anyways. But it comes in numbers. It comes in words. Oh, or like, this one's fun for me. I've been listening to Audible a lot lately. And so I'll be thinking a thought in my mind, or I'll be talking to myself out loud. And I'll be like, girl, let me think. And then the next thing I hear on the book is she says, girl, let me think. And I'm like, wait a minute. We just said the same word at the same time. So even that stuff is fun to me because that lets me know that my angels are with me, God's with me, that I'm safe, I'm okay. It lets me know that I got support. Like, I'm not in anything, not even just pandemic, but in any context. Mind. Yes, I am on somebody's mind, and I have an army guiding me front, back, side to side, all around, within and without. So, that just came to me as Jamie said that. I just had that clarity.
I love it. Oh, Edwin, y'all ain't got no mask on. The birds singing just for us. They are. Hey, ladies. Thank you both for the good vibes this afternoon. Thank you, Carlos.
Thank you, Carlos.
Taffy, yes, ma'am. She says, I'm torn between exploding with creativity and having trouble dragging myself out of bed in the morning. Child, I too have been on that journey. Sometimes I'll be like, okay, I should be on a schedule, right? Like warning. But, so I'll try to do that and put myself on a schedule. And sometimes it works because it's in alignment with who I am and where I am at the time. But sometimes that ain't it. And what I have allowed for myself in this time is to be where I'm at. So sometimes I do, I wake up at 6 and I do my, sometimes I'll wake up at 6, I'll do my meditation, I'll do my yoga, I get in the shower, and I'm ready to go. And sometimes sis is in the bed at 8:30 and it's just not happening. And then what I find is that I let myself have that flow, like that slower start to the day. And then I mess around at 6 p.m. and get all kinds of inspiration and just be going. So yeah, Taffy, I feel you in that my energy levels flow according to however they flow, and it doesn't align with the clock.
Saying we're getting feedback.
Oh no, we're getting feedback.
Feedback. Oh.
And it just started because.
How's that sound, y'all? How does it sound? That might have helped.
Let us know. Give us a thumbs up if we sound cool.
All right, is that more better? The sound?
We're gonna keep going until we get
some thumbs up, or
some or something cuss out.
Something.
Oh, good. There we go. Thumbs. Carlos said, "Please plug the Waiting to Exhale reenactment. It's epic, y'all." So we keep referencing that the Waiting to Exhale reenactment. You can find that on my social media, on Marsha's social media. We gonna tell our mama to put it on hers too. But it was just so much fun. I think it will bless your spirit to see that.
And we're going to do more because it's just fun.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
It was wonderful spending the morning. Thank you, Carrie. Thank you both for your testimonials. Thank you for the question, Dion. Oh, that's sweet. Y'all's relationship is so, so deep. My younger brother passed some years ago. We were so in tune like you two. Siblings. Sibling goal. Yeah. Let's see. Yes, audible synchronicity. No feedback on Facebook. Oh, okay, sounds good. Okay.
All right, Instagram, sound is better.
Great work. The echo is a little distorting. Maybe silence the microphone. Okay. Instagram, can y'all let us know if it's better for y'all?
Are all your family artists?
Okay, so are all your family artists?
I would say yes. I would say all of our family, we're all creatives. I don't know that they would all identify as creatives, but the way Jamie and I see them, they're creatives. It's okay. He said synchronized. Beautiful.
Thanks, Uncle Biggie.
Our dad, as we said, our pops, he used to DJ. And that was one expression of creativity for him. He could dress too. He had and has a style. He's good at coordinating. Bang, 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 bang.
See, they're coming. Y'all are gonna get all of these videos.
Get some boomerang. Our mom she's just quirky. Mom's always been quirky, and she's good at synchronicity as well. She's stylish. She is very feminine, and she is very expressive. She's a writer, like she's an orator. She's a griot. She's a natural born griot.
She's a keeper of the stories, and she tells them.
Keeper of the stories and tells them. She has a beautiful voice. We want her to do voiceovers. Y'all got the plug. Go ahead and DM us. Mm-hmm. But she's got a beautiful voice, lyrically and spiritually. Mm-hmm. Sis has wisdom up the wazoo, and her writing though, like I keep going back to that. Her orating and her writing. She's very poetic, and she's very deep, and she's very connected. I don't know. I ain't gonna speak too much on her behalf. We'll just wait until she has her own conversations
until we can snatch her own out. Rejoice 9-10.
And then our oldest sister Jade, yes, very much so. Jade and Jamie, especially Jade she opened up my eclectic musical interests, like Alanis Morissette, Fiona Apple, Bjork, Khalees. Oh yes. So Jade used to work at Virgin Records, and right when Janet Jackson got back to Virgin Records, she was working there, and then we were introduced to Khalees before she was put out mainstream, and so we got albums, we got bumper stickers that we had posted everywhere. I had them posted on the bunk bed, just everything. We were huge fans of Khalees, and so Jade is a musical.
Jade has an ear.
She has an incredible ear. Like,
and instinct.
Very intuitive, very discerning, and very just dope as hell. And she has other expressions of creativity, but that's the one that is most poignant to me. And then you want to talk on Malika?
Yeah, I mean, Malika is a thespian. She's an actress. She sings. Sis has been writing music since the womb, okay? You may recall her breakout hit, The Botter Song.
Yes, collabo.
The Botter Song, okay, written at age 2. We've got Banana Peel, okay? And then as she got older, she's got the smash hit, Jimmy's Cafe. Y'all.
Jimmy's Cafe.
Will make the pain go away. Make the pain go away. Come on, Kimberly can tell us about that one. Okay, so she is an extremely talented songwriter and musician. Again, she has an ear. But she's also a visual artist. She has an interest in... okay, y'all. We're going to bring you closer on Instagram because the phone is dying.
Grown auntie on you.
Like, listen, fast auntie.
Or we just all up in the camera.
Okay,
like
all
this.
up in the... Yeah, we're just going to hold it there. But Yes. So Malika, she's a singer, songwriter. You'll see her featured in some of our dance videos.
She's a photographer.
She is a photographer. Her eye is ridiculous.
She's incredible at composition and layouts as well. Marketing, planning, like she's aesthetics, period. Like she's just an artist.
Yeah.
And she's a Capricorn, so she's a businesswoman.
Oh, yes.
She's just... She can't help but be great.
She can't help. Oh, and Baba Tunde said about Mom, he says, wazoo wisdom.
Wazoo wisdom, facts.
Facts coming out the wazoo.
Actuals and factuals.
Okay, no feedback. Okay. Da-da-da-da. Okay. Let's see. I think... Hello, my baby girls. Wonderful job. That was from Uncle Biggie. She was 4 months. Okay, when we went to New York. See, Mama coming through with the facts.
It's actual and factual.
I seem to come back to get me off. Okay, so we got all the questions answered. We done went over to I don't even know how much time.
Boy, time ain't forever. Name that movie.
Hey, I want to go too.
Poetic Justice.
Okay, well, let's see. Well, we could talk forever, because this is what we do, but we won't, because we have a meeting after this for another project we're working on that is a secret. Y'all gonna find out about that one next month. It is May. It's May. Next month. So, let's just kind of summarize, maybe not summarize, because we talked about all of the things.
I think you should sing a snippet of something that is something, and then I think we summarize. That's what I think, but...
I will sing a snippet of so one of the things, speaking of creativity, one of the things that I've been doing that's come to me during this time is to do this thing that I'm calling Sunday Serenade. And really it's just simply me being inspired towards a song to share every Sunday morning. And so I'm going to record it today and publish it tomorrow morning. So this is just a little snippet from the song that I've been inspired to this week, since Marsha's making me do this.
Yeah.
Precious Lord, take my hand, lead me on, help me stand. I am tired, I am weak, I am worn. Through the storm, through the night, lead me on to the light. Take my hand, precious Lord, and lead me on.
Yes! Everybody got a sister, and that's mine.
XOXO.
Yes.
Anywho, what's something, Marsha, that you want the people to take away from today?
Just for all of us, additional tools to being content, not from the mindset of settling, but being content and genuine joy and peace and comfort, more self-compassion for allowing yourselves to be where you're at. Even if that moment is anxiety, being compassionate towards yourself and allowing yourself to be where that is. Like not even necessarily having a perspective of this anxiety is flaring right now. It shouldn't be because I just did this or I just finished doing this, that, and the other. I think when you have a higher perspective, you say, okay, I'm feeling anxious right now. I'm feeling a little nervous. I'm feeling a little melancholy. what is this moment calling for? I probably need some hydration. I probably need to eat. That's
Drink
a big one for me,
water.
is forgetting to eat and to drink water.
Self-care.
Is self-care. So I think it's back to the basics, as they say. Going back to the basics. It's like, okay, I'm a vessel. I need fuel. So let me start there. Once I chug some water, once I get some tea, once I eat, that'll likely shift my perspective. That'll likely shift my mood. So I'm hoping that we all take from this a reminder to return to ourselves. And I think we can use creative measures to do that. Singing, playlists for me. I love playlists, and I love tuning into some of the DJs online. And I love editing in Photoshop. I love being in nature. And I love my tarot readings. I love doing all things spiritual. I've been doing this thing where I've been kind of having conversations with my younger self. And like playing with her a little bit to be like, okay, what is she wanting to heal from? What is she wanting to release? What is she interested in? What is she still like me now, Marsha, as an adult? So tuning back into our creative selves, because as Jamie says, I agree. I believe we're all creators, and I think we're all made in the creator's image, and so we all have our unique expressions of that. So yeah, taking away the reminder to return back to the basics and to tune in, tap in, and turn on, as Abraham Hicks says, that that vibration that aligns us with our true selves and our creative expression.
We tend to have this like twin thing that we do. We're almost 7 years apart, but we still do this kind of twin thing where we will say the same things. And so for me, I was going to say that we're all creatives, period, at our core.
Yep.
That's just who you are. So it's not something that we have to try. It's not something that we have to do. That's who we are in our being. And so I want to encourage us to start there with that as our foundation. You are a creator. And when you give yourself permission to just be a creator, to be in that space where you're not judging where you are, but you just allow yourself to be there, knowing that you're a creator. Allow yourself to be curious and explore what comes up for you from that space.
Yes.
When you are not judging, when you know that in your being you are creative, what comes up for you. And allow yourself to be surprised and delighted. Or maybe even scared. It's like something might come up that was never on your radar before. Explore it. Or the thing that you thought might come up might not come up. Or it might be a repulsion for you. Give yourself permission in this time to be free and to explore. And Mama said, be still. Come on now. So, Marsha, how can the people be in touch with you in terms of knowing what you got going on, following you, getting more of your Barbie singer essence?
Hey.
Tiny bubbles. Ooh, that was the song that they sang at her preschool graduation.
Yeah,
Tiny bubbles in the wine.
We were on one in preschool. So on the social medias, on Instagram, you can follow me at Genres of Art. It's genres _ art. I could probably type it, maybe. Let me go on my phone. And then I have another Instagram. I'm not as active on it, but it's Mellow Neptune Waters, as well on YouTube. Now I'm on YouTube, Mellow Neptune Waters. That's where I post some of my my tarot readings. You can also follow some of my other playlists that I've added of other tarot readers. Playlists. And then, if you want some of my musical playlists, please hit me up. I have great playlists.
She has amazing playlists.
Yeah, hit me up. I have them on Tidal and Spotify, so please hit me up. I would be more than happy to share them. And then what else? Facebook, Marsha and Wilson, or just Marsha Wilson. What else? Who am I? That's about it. I have other social medias, but those are my most active ones. Genres _ art. As far as what I'm doing,
you're on the Twitters.
I am on the Twitters. Ooh, I forgot about Twitter. genres _ art on Twitters. Yeah, so as far as what I got coming up, yeah, I'm going to be quarantined until like 2021, and I'm perfectly fine with it.
Staying in the house.
Yeah, because especially since I've opened up, so many things have been opened up to me. Things that, like I said, have been brewing in the vortex for years are like, let's go. So now I'm exploring those things. And
Scoped it.
I'm not going to speak too much on the details because I like to wait until it comes into fruition. But there's lots happening, and I'm excited to see what manifests of it. So, yeah.
Cute.
Another movie. Baby boy.
Bye, Uncle Biggie.
Bye, Uncle Biggie.
Okay, cool. So I just want to give y'all just a little shout out preview for next week. Like I said, I will be joined by the lovely, illustrious Tatanisha Copeland, and we will be talking about the babies, and we will be talking about being parents, and just all the care and love and consideration that it entails during Rona times. So join us next week. Bye, y'all. Love you.
Love y'all.
Au revoir.
Love and light.